Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so what I want to talk about is how we project images onto each other and essentially how we superimpose our video in our head upon that person. So let's say their physical body is in front of you, maybe 4 or 5 feet away or whatever. So what people do is, it's like there's a projector, like at the movie theaters, it's inside your brain. And just like at the movie theater, if you look, behind you up at the wall, there'd be like a little square hole up there, and it's projecting or the image or superimposing the video upon the screen up on the big wall in front of you. People do this all the time to each other. Very, very few people know how to clear their mind and open up to just receive someone for who they are. To just see without any kind of filters. To hear without any kind of filters. Now, do I walk around like this 100% of the time? No, but I would say I'm a very conscious person, so when I pop into that kind of, call it a trance-like state where I'm not conscious, I'll pop myself out of it. So I'm constantly doing this during the day. I wouldn't say I'm constantly doing this during the day. I would say this: when I'm not open, when I'm not receiving, I don't like it. I don't like it when I'm in that closed tip of the V at all, because it feels like I'm trapped. It feels like I'm stuck. So when I work with people, when I'm close to people, when people become friends, or I start to date someone, here's one of the challenges. I'm such an open person that it opens people up. And how I always talk about the V, the tip of the V is where a lot of people hide. The funny thing is the anxiety is in there. It's created in that space. When you open up to the other side, that's when you feel safe, because you are safe. You're conscious, you're aware, your 5 senses are tuned in, so you can feel the vibe around you. So that's what keeps you aware and safe. Going into the tip means you're kind of closing your eyes. You're not really seeing things for the way they are, and you're not hearing things for the way they are. In fact, you may not even hear or see anything at all, even though it's right in front of you. So on the one hand, when you're around someone like me, you spend time with me, you will shift and you will change. I am telling you, just by being in my presence, by being around me, by interacting with me. It's okay. I'm just going to cut to the chase. So essentially, what I'm going to say sounds negative, but it's a very positive thing, because what I'm doing is healing people simply just by being. I'm not actually going out and doing something to them. I could just be in a person's space and area for a period of time, and they'll slowly start opening up. For a lot of people, that's scary, because it's like, wait, what is this? Because they've been closed down for so long, they forgot what it means to just do you, be you, see the world for the way it is. Okay, so here's what I was going to say. Essentially, I am not only a narcissist worst nightmare, I'm also an avoidance worst nightmare, but I don't mean that especially for the avoidant in a bad way. It's because an avoidant is constantly trying to hide themselves, because someone along the line, usually a parent who's usually probably a narcissist, has projected all of this negativity upon them, just like they've done to empaths. Their whole deal is projecting their negativity and say, no, it's not me, it's you. Everyone's looking for a scapegoat, even though they do. Okay, I'm just going to spit it out. I had a high school girlfriend who cheated on me a lot with, I've never said this, I don't know if I'm going to say this. No, I'm not going to. With someone I knew very, 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 very well. And I was naive, I was dumb, I was a kid. And all of a sudden she started accusing me of what she was doing. But as a kid, I didn't know any better. It wasn't until I think I was like 19 or 20, someone had said, a friend of mine said, well, that when someone's accusing you of cheating and you're not cheating, it usually means they're the ones that are cheating. So she projected her guilt, her shame, her conscious negativity, or whatever you want to call it, onto me. That is a very typical projection. It's not me, it's you, right? So if you're an empath, you know exactly what it's like to be a scapegoat. Everyone blames you for their own stuff they did wrong, or their own maybe insecurities or whatever. And so that's what this is about. Alright, here's the deal. So for an avoidant, it's like they're actually a very beautiful person on the inside. The challenge is somebody, or probably more than one person, has projected and superimposed their negative thoughts onto them. So it's like this shell around them. It's like a video that's been played and projected onto them so much that they kind of started thinking, well, this is who I am. And that's what happens to empaths too. Like we're taught that we're no good, we're taught that we're bad, we're taught that we're just nothing. And so when I come into an avoidance world, again, it's the same thing that'll happen to a narcissist or anybody, is they start to open up and go, oh, wait a minute, that's not me, this is me inside. So, as I said in applied psychology, a class I took in college, one of the things I remember the professor taught us, one of the things I learned from a psychology class was this one, I really liked. He said, we're all born essentially this ball of energy, pure, beautiful, white, loving energy, just pure. And then someone comes along and they put a little dirt on us, a little more, and they do it by lying to us or teaching us lies and things that aren't true, or saying we're no good, or tricking our mind. And you get a little more dirt, a little more, and next thing you know, it's like there's some white kind of shining out, but there's a lot of dirt and darkness covering up the real you on the inside. And he goes, all I do as a therapist, he goes, I come along and I clean off the dirt, and I do one by one, I'm cleaning more and more so the real you can begin to shine. And that's what I do for work. That is a really good metaphor for what I do. Now with avoidance, what happens is they come around me, and this, again, anybody. And what happens is they open up and they're like, whoa, and they feel good about themselves for a while, and everything's wonderful because now they're being who they really are, this loving, happy, joyful person on the inside, because that's who they are. So in other words, they go to the other end of the V, they go to the upper open end of the V, and they open wide open, and it's a very freeing experience. But the challenge is, then their logic kind of kicks and goes, whoa, wait a minute, that's not who I am. Then they go back into the illusion that was projected onto them, probably by the family. So in essence, inside an avoidant is a very, very beautiful person. And one of the things is I've been very fortunate to have had this experience, to see that light inside them. And I don't normally visually see energy, but man, this was one of the few times where I really saw it. Normally I can sense it or feel it. And I got a quick glimpse of it. Man, was it beautiful. It was pure. It was white. It was bright. It was beautiful. It is beautiful. Unfortunately, there was this thing around it that was holding it in. And the thing around it is essentially the lies and the projections. And it acts like a barrier to the outside world. And so, alright, now here's the really interesting thing. All of those things that make up that barrier, they're all lies. They're all projections from other people. They're probably not only projections, but energy of other people, of their stuff that they don't want to deal with. So here's the really good thing. When an avoidant, or even an empath, when you can see, like, wait a minute, that's not me, I am telling you, there could be a moment where pop, everything just disappears. It's just like it's an illusion. And when you finally get to the point to seeing that illusion, a miracle happens. Everything shifts. Like, you suddenly love yourself, you feel good about yourself. It is a wonderful, wonderful experience. It's a very empowering experience. It's a happy experience. It's an enlightening experience. It's an expansive experience of absolute total freedom. What I just said, that's what I do for a living. I'm not even going to try to repeat that. It was perfect. It was poetic. It was right on the mark. So one of the challenges avoidance are like, oh, so you have this expectation of me being this perfect being. Like, no, not at all. It's that. Okay, how do I say this? Okay, so a lot of avoidance don't feel like they're good enough for you, so they're gonna cut you down, push you away, because they're trying to protect themselves, because they do feel bad about themselves because of what was superimposed on them. When I come along and I pop them out of that superimposed image or video on them, they begin to realize, like, wait a minute, I remember who I am again. Now again, this doesn't just apply for avoidance. I'm doing this to kind of get this message out. It gives me focus to pull this out. So in other words, this applies to everyone. It's just, this gives me a way to pull this message out, okay? Alright, I'll give you another example. So I'm really good at seeing people's potential. A lot of people have no idea how much potential they have inside them. For some reason, even at a young age, I mean, even when I was in high school, I'm pulling these kids aside saying, come on, you're better than that. And, you know, to them, it was like raw motivation. And at the time, I didn't really quite realize that I was seeing something that other people weren't seeing, or even that they didn't see. So when I was about 23, 24 years old, my old high school wrestling coach, he called me up and said, hey, can you come in and help this kid? He's really good, but he's never won a single match. Now I'm thinking, well, he's probably a freshman or something. He goes, no, he's a senior. I'm like, well, is this his first year? He goes, no, it's his fourth year of wrestling. I'm like, I go, what? I go, he's never won a match? Like, why do you think he's any good? He goes, just come on in and, check him out. I was like, all right. So I think they were already 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks into the wrestling season, and he hadn't won a single match that year either. And so I came into practice with him. He was like, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty strong, and he knows a lot of moves. I'm like, okay. And I noticed, like, he had no confidence at all. Like, it just wasn't there. He didn't have it on a social life, and on a personal level, on a wrestling level. It just wasn't there. So long story short, I'm going to cut right to the chase. I don't want to get off track here. I got this kid to win his first match, and then he won his next one. Then he won his next one. And then all of a sudden he went undefeated all the way into, let me think if it was sections or league. I think it was league. He took second place. He lost by 1 point. And then in subsections where you have to qualify, so these are the best of all the leagues, and we come together with, I think it's like 7 or 10 leagues for our subsection. And then he ended up beating the guy that beat him in league to win the subsection title, which was phenomenal for someone who had never freaking won a match. So then we went to the section tournament. In California, it is an extremely hard tournament. A lot of guys don't even make it. That's like, for most people, that's their dream, is to make it to the sections. So he's making it to the sections, and you would think he would have walked in and say, I feel good enough for what I've done. This is great. And I was like, no. You're going to go in there and you're going to win it. He missed going to state by 1 point. You have to understand, going to the state tournament in California, it is the biggest state with the most high schools. It is the most competitive wrestling state in the nation. Now, other people, no, it's the Midwest. No, it's not. It's California. If you go to the state in California, you've done damn good. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is I can see potential in people. If I didn't see potential in them, I wouldn't have put that much time and effort into them. I guess that was a roundabout way of, I don't mean that I literally, it's like, oh, yeah, he's pretty good. I literally mean I could see something inside, just like with this avoidant. I could see the light inside her. And a lot of us, we don't really see how beautiful we are inside. So one of the things avoidance will think is like, well, why does this person like me? And a lot of times they won't believe it, so they'll push you away. And it's really sad when you see someone who's so beautiful on the inside and they can't see it themselves. And they spend the rest of their lives running from it and hiding from it. Because they were taught, as a lot of us were, that who we really are on the inside is bad, when actually that's the most beautiful part of you. And that's the work that I do. The work that I do when I teach these internal awareness techniques, these emotional grounding techniques, it allows you to finally pop open, to free yourself. A really interesting thing is when you finally learn how to truly ground yourself, now it'll take some work. It's not like a one-shot thing. But we can get you there in one session, but you're probably going to pop out. So it's like an exercise, like a conditioning thing to where you can begin to do it on your own eventually down the road. So when you finally learn how to be really grounded in public, what you'll notice is the people that are around you, that especially that interact with you, they start to relax, they start to feel comfortable, and they don't know why. And what happens is they begin to open up and expand their energy. Another way of saying that is instead of being tightly focused and locked down and having shields around and locked up, you unlock yourself, you let go, and your awareness, your energy expands wide open, and now everything can flow instead of being concentrated and restricted in the tip of that V. So your freedom, your spaciousness allows others to feel that same way, and they begin to have more freedom and spaciousness within and around them. So I think another way of saying like, well, Mike, what do you do? I show people that they're free. I create this spacious energy around me where when people come into this space, they find their own freedom simply by being within an open, free space. So if I had to pick one word for everything that I do, it's freedom. Freedom to finally just be you, to be yourself. Freedom to love who you want to love. Freedom to smile, to laugh, to go where you want, to do what you want, to experience life to the fullest. Emotional freedom. See, the challenge is people came in and they began to create something called the church and churches around the world, and that was developed through the left brain. So you have to understand each brain acts as a filter because they are two different processors. Now the right brain is the open processor. It's the open, spacious way of being in the present moment. It's about allowing, it's about noticing. It's about just being in the present moment, to literally just being. Okay? Now the left brain, it's about rules, structure, and organization, and the left brain is the controlling brain. So the left brain looks at the teachings of Jesus or whoever and goes, oh, okay, so that's a sin. If you do this, you broke a rule, therefore you go into hell. Because, again, it's about rules, structure, and organization. So it acts as filter. So it filters everything through rules, structure, and organization, and it really believes that's what is being said to them even when it's not. So when I went through my awakening, I opened up. See, okay, what really is consciousness? A lot of people think it's, opening up to your right brain. Well, if you're a left brain person, when you do open up to your right brain, it really is consciousness. But it works the other way around. Consciousness is when you're open to both of your brain, left and right, at the same moment while being attuned to your lower reptilian brain. All of these are processors that give you information. Most people, sadly, live in either left or right, or lower reptilian brain separately from consciousness. Okay, so when you are closed off to your other brains, that means you're asleep. When you open up to all of your brains at the same time, that's consciousness, that's self-awareness. And by connecting to the self, you expand to the universe around you. And that's where suddenly you'll receive knowledge that you've never even studied. You'll understand things simply by looking at them. So I went to the Golden Gate Bridge again yesterday, but this time I jogged across. I got off in Sausalito, and I went up the hill, and I ran across. I do like a walk, run, and then I went all the way down into Crissy Field, into the marina, etc. And then I came back, and on the way back, there was the Jehovah's Witnesses. It was a young guy, probably 30, I'm going to guess. The young lady was about 26, 25, 28, something like that. And essentially, he gave me the spiel of, we don't teach the hell and brimstone fire and damnation and the fear of God. Well, as we got into the conversation, he literally said, this was literally about 4 minutes after he said we don't believe in teaching people the fear of God, that God's here to harm us, which I really liked. I thought, man, that's great to say. And he immediately went into this. Well, you fear the Lord your God, right? How do you say? Do you fear the Lord your God? And I said, oh no, not at all. I love God with all my heart and all my soul. His mouth and the young lady's mouth just dropped like, oh yeah, huh, man, I didn't think of it. Because a lot of times people are taught things and they never really, it's like, listen to what you're saying. You're talking to a child and telling them to fear God. And I said that to him. He got really quiet, like, yeah, okay, I never thought of it like that. I go, yeah. I go, that's the work of the devil. Whoever taught you that is evil. So all I'm saying is, when you read the Bible from the left brain, you're going to get a radically different experience, okay? Here's the challenge. The teachings of Jesus are the right brain. Why? Because he uses the internal right brain language. He uses words like look within. He uses words like the Lord God Almighty lives within the temple. And then he says that the body's the temple of the Lord, etc., right? So if Jesus is in internal being and his pupils are dilated, that's how you know someone's in the right brain, which is the internal brain. So not only was Jesus speaking the internal language, he was also using the right brain processor, which means if you use the left brain processor, you're not going to hear his message. You're going to hear the opposite. You're going to hear it's about rules and structure and punishment and right or wrong, good or bad, I'm better than you, all the egotistical crap. The teachings of Christ were literally turned into a religion. Religion is a left brain process. It's about rules, structure, and organization. So I just Googled religion definition, and it said a particular system, boom, structure. System means you have a structure of faith and worship, etc. Right? Then it goes on to say religion is a range of social, cultural systems, including designated behaviors, practices, morals, beliefs, worldviews, texts, sanctified places, prophecies. All of these are rules. It's all about structure. This is not spirituality. I believe in spirituality. I believe in the teachings of Christ. Spirit and truth. That's a right brain function. The left brain has nothing to do with spirit at all. That's the logical processor. It's about business, math, and science, about rules, structure, and organization, which is what religion is. The left brain has nothing to do with truth. It has to do with right or wrong. And you think, but that is truth. No, it's not. I could literally draw a line in the road and make up a rule and say, okay, if you cross that line, you owe me $10. It doesn't mean it's true. It just means I made a rule. So, like it says here, I'm going to reread that. It says social cultural systems. That's structure, including designated behaviors and practices, morals and beliefs. All right, and worldviews. Well, what is a belief? A belief is something that I believe. So now it's a rule. Now you have to follow it. You have to believe what I believe. So the question is, whose morals? Morals are rules. And if you don't follow my rules, well, then we're going to punish you. It's the punishment system. It's the sacrificial system. In the next video, I'm going to show you that this whole somebody needs to be the scapegoat. Did you know that Jesus was the ultimate scapegoat? He was where everyone blamed their problems onto Jesus. This is a narcissistic system. I mean, I got to blame somebody for what I did wrong. I mean, I can't take responsibility for it. That's what it's all about. I mean the evil way, not the good way. The good way is freedom. In the next video, I'm going to explain to you how free you actually are, and you always have been. Hey, if you like this video, please click subscribe, click the like button, and go ahead and make a comment. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.